is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
What's up, Courier Nation? This week we're going to do something a little different. The podcast fell during our spring break, so we actually recorded early, and we have a special guest this week. This week we have JJ Wang's cousin with a big fancy name, Dynasty Matt. If you want to see his handsome mug, he will be on the YouTube page. We know he's a good person because he is a fellow fan of the Fins, so nothing can be wrong with that. Dynasty Matt, introduce yourself to Courier Nation. Tell us what gets you into football, what teams you got, and who your favorite best draft pick ever was.
Yeah. Hey everyone. Thanks for having me, guys. Football, Dolphins fan, fins up, close to a Super Bowl. I feel it, right? Finally in my 38 years or 39 years of my life, I feel good about the future here finally. Love football, fantasy football, Dynasty now, of course, is the way to play. Best draft pick ever. That's tough.
Or favorite.
I have to go because it's Superflex, and I haven't been playing too long of Dynasty. I would have to say probably Justin Herbert. And I say that for where I got him at 210. Almost the third round. And so I think, that's what Dynasty is all about, is finding value late. And so I say that would probably be my best. I did draft Joe Burrow too, but, I got him really early where you expected him to go. I don't see that as the same. So that'd probably be my main go-to on that.
That's a good pick.
You think he rebounds this year? How big? How much will he bounce back? Or is it somewhere between what he was and what he is?
Yeah, I thought he was disappointing last year for sure, given the ceiling, right? But I do think he bounces back. Got a new coaching staff, I think, that complements his game a little bit more. If the receivers can stay healthy, that's the key, right? Because that's what really killed him last year too. He had no healthy receivers. I think he rolled with Josh Palmer for like 6 or 7 weeks at least, the number one receiver. I'm not sure how long it was, but not going to get it done. So they got to stay healthy too. So
is he like 5 to 7 or like 8 to 10?
Yeah, it's got to be 5 to 7, right? If they stay healthy, and with the scheme, I think that's there now. And I think a big key too that not talking about is Austin Eckler too. If he leaves or goes or leaves or stays, that's big on him too with those dump downs because he gets a lot of yak yards. So that's important too.
Yeah, I think he should get paid.
We'll see. Paying the old running back. Does that happen? I think he stays and nothing changes, and he just complains a little bit because he's trying to drum up. Because he says he still likes the Chargers, so I think nothing changes because they're not stupid and they know they got to pay Herbert. So, what we're going to do this week is we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a rookie draft, pre-NFL draft. So this draft goes out the window basically in a month. And we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and work our way through some picks until we're like, hey, you've heard enough of us, and then we'll bid you adieu for the week. We'll get some wisdom from JJ Wang. But we're going to do it. It's going to be Superflex, tight end premium. And anything else there to add, JJ Wang?
No, I just wanted to let everybody know I do a lot of the pre and post type stuff. I just love that type of gimmick. I mean, in wrestling terms, it's just something I enjoy doing. So we'll name all these guys, and maybe after the draft, maybe we'll look a little smarter because, we had this guy here even before the draft. Maybe we have something to hang our hat on there. So, yeah. I think it's just kind of something fun to just introduce these guys more and more as we go.
Okay, so the way we're going to go is I've got the first pick, Dynasty Matt has the second pick, and JJ Wang has the third pick, and we're just going to keep going and going and going. JJ Wang has his fancy computer, a pen and paper. You can see it popping up on YouTube. He will keep notes there. He'll take a picture, send it to me, and maybe if I get a moment this week when I'm down at the beach, I will put it up on Instagram or YouTube or somewhere on Facebook or something, or show the picture of what we got as we go on. So it is Superflex tight end premium. We'll say half point PPR, which is pretty standard, give or take, because it doesn't change. And tight end premium, we'll say, is about 1.5 points. I think my tight end premiums usually are 0.75 and then
Yeah,
1.5. So
make
give
it
or
make
take.
it worth it. Make it worth it.
I'm in one where it's tight end premium, but wide receiver gets a PPR. Doesn't really premium
Yeah.
it too much. It's so I don't gauge it as much as I did others. But so I have the first pick, and this is the chalk pick from everything we've been talking that during going in, whether it's Superflex, whether it's regular, and barring him getting drafted by the Cowboys or something crazy, Bijan Robinson out of running back out of Texas has to be the number one pick in every draft, top to bottom. He supposedly is the second coming of Adrian Peterson, Walter Payton. You name some great running back down, Emmitt Smith. You name some running back. He is supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you got to take him. If you don't take him, I'd rather fall on my face taking that stud running back for my team than letting him go and saying I missed a generational talent.
Yeah, so Matt, this is for you to ask you before the podcast. So is there a way that you would take a quarterback if you need one really bad over Bijan? We know Bijan's going to be, well, we think he's going to be great. But if you need a quarterback is the most important position.
Yeah, I think when you look at your team, this is where you got to decide whether you got two guys that can make it through the year, right, and maybe pick up somebody that gets hurt that you need on the bye weeks. But unless that's the case, and I think we were talking earlier, like Mac Jones and Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
Do you make it through with that? I think, yeah, you make it through and you pick Robinson because if you get to next year, obviously if you're picking first, your team probably isn't that good, most likely anyway. I don't think the expectations to turn around and win a championship next year. I mean, we're all hoping that's the case, but you have to draft a good team to get there. So yeah, unless you only have one quarterback, all day.
I mean, I guess at this point you're going to keep taking until Manning comes out, right?
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're going to be falling into that space anyway if this is your strategy. So, but it's got to be. I don't. There's not, like the quarterbacks are good, but there's not one that's like I got to have him over Bijan because I need a quarterback, right? Like I think you still have to take the best talent here.
All right. Well, speaking of quarterbacks, you've got the number 2 pick. That's the quarterback, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now as a quarterback, Bijan's gone, right? And I think there's a little bit of distance between the running backs and now this is where you have to draft a quarterback if you need one. And so that pick is going to be CJ Stroud. I think he'll go number 1 overall. And a Carolina. So, I think you're talking about somebody who's going to instantly start, right? So you got to start a quarterback. And at that point, you got. I think, in my opinion, right now, he's the most ready for the NFL out of the quarterbacks to start and be productive.
Yeah, so we'll just keep the quarterback thing going because with my pick, I'm going to take Anthony. I would take Anthony Richardson here just for the upside. I love the big guy, the big strong guy. Bryce Young, sure he might be great, but he's just a little too small for me. So how far is the distance between CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson? It's big, right?
I think it's huge. I think right now,
Huge.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we're taking Richardson based upon potential. I was talking to my brother tonight on the phone. You both of us like him, but really in college he was an okay quarterback and a good athlete. And CJ Stroud was a great quarterback in college, but he on a great team. I mean, they both played you look at Richardson, he played in the SEC, so he played great competition. You saw him duck and dive people, but Stroud showed out. He showed out. I mean, I remember that game. Was it the national championship like a year ago?
Yeah.
Or was it the quarterfinals? It was disgusting. That dude's awesome.
I mean, you got to think CJ Stroud dismantled a great Georgia defense that has a lot of NFL talent, right? And I think that's some of what you compare. But yeah, I think there's a huge gap too. I mean, the potential's that. But so this is the difference, right? Like, let's say Lamar gets traded hypothetically, and Anthony Richardson gets drafted by the Ravens. Holy moly! Holy moly! Right? But let's say he gets drafted by like somebody that already has a decent quarterback and the system's not right. That's where I think the risk is.
Yeah, it's like I've heard of him going a couple places today. on Kuiper's most recent, he has him going to Seattle. And I think that would be great for him because he's going to set 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. I mean, it would just be perfect. And you got the deep threats there. I mean, it would work, but I just don't think he lasts till 5 anyway. I think he'll be gone. So you got the third pick here, or the next pick. Are you taking another quarterback?
Sure am. I'm taking the guy who I would draft before Richardson more than likely, and that would be Bryce Young. I know you're scared of Bryce Young due to his height. I'm going with pedigree.
And wait.
The height, weight, size. You're a sizist. Us little people, we stick together. So I'm going with the pedigree. Dude played for one of the, if not the best school in the nation overall. I mean, Georgia's the king of the mountain right now, but Alabama, stellar school, played in one of the best programs, led that program. And as I was saying last week, I was watching some stuff about even though he's short, the scouts talking about his release is higher. So he has adjusted to go within what he can pass. Plus, he's not going to be playing for like Indianapolis. Whichever quarterback goes to Indianapolis is the one I'm a little more scared of. He's going to be a Texan. And something, they have younger talent. I like what's his name? The coach out of San Francisco. I just lost the coach.
Shanahan?
No, the new one in Houston. DeMeco Ryans.
DeMeco Ryans. Yeah,
I think he'll bring some energy in there. He's got a couple young receivers, but I'm going to go with pedigree there because my other option really is to go with a running back or JSN. So I'm going quarterback here because at this point you do need quarterback, and he's probably my third on the board. Him and Richardson would really depend upon spots, to be honest.
Yeah, how do you feel about Young's stature here? Dynasty
Yeah,
Matt?
I think if any Alabama quarterback's going to do it, it'd be him, just because he's probably the most athletic out of every one of them that's ever come out, right? But yeah, small statue, you got to worry about injuries, but like he does have a higher release. As I was saying, you got a Drew Brees kind of release, which is good, if you can that vision. I would pick him over Richardson depending on spot. If Richardson goes to Baltimore or Seattle, I'll probably pick Richardson. But Bryce Young is probably going to be universally the pick before Richardson, I think. At least that's where I'd go.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, you're back up. You're back up here. Are you taking the quarterback, or are you switching another direction here?
Yeah, I think there's a gap now in quarterbacks, right? And I think at this spot, right, you probably maybe have some decent quarterbacks already. So I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama, the running back from Alabama. I think he's multi-talented. Again, he's a little shorter on the statue, but he's got just so many comparisons to Alvin Kamara, and his game is so likable in that sense that he catches the ball out of the backfield, gets up in between the tackles, one cut, he's gone, right, type of guy. Just electric, man. And I think, even though I think there's a big gap between Bijan and him, I still think he's the second best running back and somebody should pick around here. And if you get him here, I think you're pretty lucky too.
Yeah, you're just lucky when you come out when there's 4 quarterbacks on the board. You're going to get a lot of these other guys are going to definitely fall down the draft. But yeah, I think he's cleared the number two back here. And again, I'm a sizes here, like DJ Dove says. I'm not a fan of the small backs, but I mean, I could see making an exception for Gibbs. You like him? You like him, DJ Dove?
I do. I've heard a lot of the Kamara comps, and I'll be curious to see what kind of a team gets him. Will he be paired up with one of the bruiser backs? Will he be one of those where there's just 2 fast guys? I mean, Dallas likes to get their new toys. If he shows up in Dallas, is Pollard going to be then made into just a straight up power back, and they're not going to use him for the speed and let Gibbs get the catches? Or it'll be interesting to see where he fits in next year when he goes in. But I mean, Alabama running backs, as with Bryce Young, I mean, some of those they're hit or miss. But if I'm going to throw against the wall and see something to stick, it's going to be some running back who's been running in the SEC. So.
So there's a lot of Alabama and Ohio State love going on here. So I'm going to stick with Ohio State. I'm going to go the first wide receiver off the board. Go Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he's the best wide receiver on the board. Clearly debatable. Wide receivers aren't as highly touted as he was last year, or the year before. But I think he's the best. We all know the story coming out of Ohio State. He had Wilson on one side, Olave on the other. They both said this guy was the best. A little slower than initially anticipated, but I mean, 4.4, mid 4.4. I think it was a 4.47. That's still pretty fast. I mean, catch the ball. I mean, I think he's the best receiver in the class. I'll go number 6.
Now's when it gets messy. Yeah, that's. I mean, if you're in that spot, you're in a Midland team, and you guys see really what for your team. It's like, what is your team missing? Is it missing a receiver? And problem with receivers, always having rookie drafts, is they might take a year or two to develop because this year there's not that. He's probably the closest to a receiver that could be good this year. There'll be that shocker guy in the 4th round, but there's nobody of these receivers that are going to be hit here that you're like, okay, they are going to be Justin Jefferson day one.
But to be fair, we didn't think Justin Jefferson was going to be Justin Jefferson day one. So
I traded him away for a bag of peanuts. I traded him away for a bag of peanuts.
Is Jackson Smith your top wide receiver here, Matt?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Yeah. I mean, he's yeah, I think so. I think again, maybe landing spot between him and Addison. To me, I do like Jordan Addison a lot. So would the landing spots where they win on their team switch that for me? Maybe in that spot, but I do think I think if he lands in the right spot, he should be the first receiver taken off based off of talent potential.
Yeah, I think so. All right, back to you, Adam. Who you got?
Tell you what, I've had the 2 chalkiest, easiest picks, the first 2. Now I have no clue to pick. Like I'm looking here. Look, you look. I'm looking at Superflex. Do I have to take the quarterback here? Do I look at Addison, or do I take another running back that I like off the board here? And this is total team structure, and I am, and we talked about it last week. I am of the belief that I am running back, unless I need a quarterback. So because I'm worried that I like Levis, but he worries me a lot, and there's not enough to keep me excited about him. That I think I'm going to go to the West Coast. I might sneak in. I'm going to reach here. I think I would go with Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. This will make you happy because he is a giant. A good 6 foot tall running back. And I just think that he's going to be a good 214-pound bruiser running through some lines there. He'll be a good guy that will be healthy. I mean, I really like Devin. How do you say his name? Akane? I always say
Achane.
I like him a lot because, I like my small, fast guys, but I just don't think he'll get enough tread this year. But you put a good old Charbonnet in there, and I think he's going to be if he lands in the right situation, could be a good power back for a team.
Yeah, so we all know how I feel about Charbonnet. Are you a fan, man? I kind of see you not liking this guy. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, not a fan. I don't really think I think he goes here. I'm not saying that he's not the 3rd running back drafted here. But I like some other guys a little later more. Based off potential than this guy. I didn't watch this guy play a lot, but I'm
Too
not.
late.
I'm just not. I'm not a fan.
Went to Michigan, transferred to UCLA, kicked it big over in the Pac-12. Not too hard to run in the Pac-12, but at this spot, I mean, 3rd best running back or the 2nd best wide receiver. It's kind of funny how last year at this time we were saying can't wait for the 2024 or 2023 draft. It's going to be so deep. And here we are, 7th pick, and we're like, I don't want any of these guys. I don't know who to pick. But it's kind of funny. Who you got, Matt?
Yeah, so with my pick here, I think where we at
1-8.
1-8. I'm going Addison, receiver from USC. He played at Pitt with Pickett, had a great year, transferred, had a great year. Right, 2 different systems, 2 different quarterbacks. I think he's adaptable. Right, going to come in, going to do great things right away. I think you might see more production from Addison than any other receiver in the league early, just based off of those things. I think because that's hard to do. 2 different quarterbacks, again, 2 different systems, 2 different leagues, really. West Coast, ACC, right? When he go into the Pac-12. So, yeah, I like him a lot. and I would be happy to get him at 8. Really.
Yeah, he ran a little slower of a time too, but like I said, they're still 4.4s. They're still all fast, but like the speed and everything, you need to be able to catch the ball, run routes, and Addison killed it. So I wish he could have done a little better at USC, compared to what he did with at Pitt. But I think overall, I think he's a fantastic wide receiver.
Yep.
All
I'm
right,
just thinking of
so
my next pick. Sorry, my brain went goo.
all right, so I've seen some pics on, I think, I don't know, it was Twitter or something, that with Will Levis has finally gotten into football shape. So these picks were, I mean, if that's in shape, I mean, I'm going to jump on this train. I'm going to have two of the most athletic, freakishly looking guys on my team. I got Richardson first. I'll take Will Levis here at the 1-9 spot. Um, he's going to go high. He's going to get an opportunity to start. And I mean, if you're a rebuilding team, you need young quarterbacks. I think that's the best way to go, because if they hit, I think there's all the value there. So at 1-9, I'm going to take a shot on Will Levis here. I mean, Daniel Jones making it in the NFL, right? I mean, Will Levis can make it in the NFL. Got the same kind of play style. I mean, like I said, it all depends on where he goes. I mean, Daniel Jones, we thought he was kind of a bust until Dayball came in and kind of re-energized that. Now he's worth $40 million. Who knew?
Peyton
Yeah,
Manning.
yeah. I thought that was amazing what he did with him, because he just let him run a lot, right? What he's
Yeah.
good at, and he did more of that, right? So yeah, I mean, if he falls in the right spot, right, um, he's going to get his opportunity, like you said. Which, I mean, if you need a quarterback right here late too in the first round, which I don't know about this guy. Like I'm just there's always busts, man, at a quarterbacks, right? He just
Oh
feels like
yeah.
the bust to me. Like he feels like the guy, but you know. Daniel Jones is playing good, like you said too. So if they get, but Dable is special though. You got to find
Oh
somebody
yeah.
special. So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm fully aware that this could just be a complete waste of a draft pick, but if you can't waste draft picks in fantasy
yeah,
football, where can you waste them at, man?
I mean, do you know
yeah.
how
I mean,
many 1.1 dynasty picks I have seen just go down the pooper? Who was it?
Yeah.
Sankey for the Titans years ago.
Bishop
Bishop
Sankey, yeah.
Sankey, like that was a garbage pick. I mean, I'm sitting there. If I'm at 1.9, and we're assuming, I mean, in all the leagues I'm in, nobody has their original picks. Matt, listen to this. I have a league where my team the last month of the year just exploded. I have the 1.1, the 1.2, the 1.5, and the 1.6 through trades. My quarterbacks are Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence.
wow.
It's gonna be a nice team.
It better be.
It's gonna be very nice to walk away. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, here's who I'm taking. Yeah, at that point, like I'm assuming as I'm looking at this draft that we're just saying everybody has their picks, but most people don't. But if you're at the 1-9, that means your team was competitive. You probably have the good quarterbacks. You can throw Will Levis in there and go, hey, there's going to be some guy who was at 1.1 who might give me their 2024 first for this guy who maybe I don't like. So Matt you'd probably take him thinking, I'm here. I've got a good team. I need that next level, and some rookie might not take me over. A trade will get me to that next level, but Will Levis could get me that player I need. Or he plays a couple weeks. He's a big boy. He could end up being that solid pocket passer.
I mean, as a value at this point in the draft, I mean, he's got to be the best value at this point. I mean, we still got a couple wide receivers, but I think it's a lock. But all right, we're resetting here, Adam, towards the end of the first round.
Oh,
Who
you're
you
gonna
who you
love this,
taking?
Jason. JJ
No
Wang.
doubt.
You know who I'm taking.
I don't know. I think maybe.
You like big boys. I've went big 2 picks in a row. 6'3", 208-pound wide receiver out of TCU, Quentin Johnston. Just gonna He's a big receiver and bigger than most cornerbacks. He's gonna be a good guy you throw out there on the edge the first year. You don't need to teach him a lot of routes. You just teach him go towards end zone, put hands in the air. I'm thinking Kelvin Benjamin kind of rookie season. Hopefully not Kelvin Benjamin career, but Kelvin like kind of that. So, I mean, that's what they did with Kelvin Benjamin. He didn't do a lot. He went end zone and then Cam hit him. Boom, end zone. That's all he needs. And where he's going to fall, more than likely, he's going to fall to a team that was in the playoffs. He's not going to be. He'll be falling there. What? Late first round, somewhere in there, probably. So it's a contender.
So, so is Quentin Johnson out of TCU? Is he more of a Jalen Rager type
No,
NFL career, or more of a Jahan Dotson type NFL career?
I hope Jahan Watson.
Jahan Dotson and you had that, but it's just kind of crazy. Like, comes to these TCU guys, just these last two guys, I mean, well, should I take them or should I not? Are you a fan, Matt?
I am a fan of Quentin Johnston. I think I actually for some reason watched tape on this guy the other night for like an hour. And the one thing that concerns me is that he catches the ball a lot with his body and not his hands. And so, I mean, the quarterbacks in the NFL, they're gonna zip it in there really quick in tight windows, right? And so and it's not like majorly concerned. I think he goes at the spot and you'd be happy with that, right? But if you're going to say anything about him, I think it's somewhat of his big frame, and he catches it too much with his body, I would say, from what I saw. Most of those big guys have such soft hands. I'm just worried about his hands in that sense.
I do love watching film, and it just leads to a long line of just watching highlights for like an hour. Some of these guys put up some great highlights, and it honestly kind of leads me to drafting these guys. I'm like, ooh, look at this guy. I'm like, oh, I get all excited.
That's when you get sucked in because they're playing Boise State.
They look so good out there, man.
Field, a little smart field.
All right, who are you taking with your next pick, Matt?
So the next pick here, because it's tight end premium, right? And I think we're at what, 2-1?
2-1.
Right? 2-1 at tight end premium. I'm taking this tight end off the board here. I'm happy with that. And with Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, or Mayer, however you want to pronounce it. I think he's the best tight end in this class by far. I compare him like to, maybe like a old Jason Witten or something, but I think he has that type of talent. He's big, 6'6", 235, can block. I think Notre Dame's a good tight end school now. It's producing some good tight ends. I think again, in tight end premium, I think this is going to be your best pick from a tight end position.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's the most complete tight end. Like I said, best way to get on the field is being able to block. He's definitely the best blocker in the class. But it's crazy tight end class. I mean, like there's like 5 or 6 tight ends that's going to probably end up going in, by the end of the second round. It's kind of crazy. But this is like the only guy that can really do it all right now. So, but yeah, that's a great pick. Since it is tight end premium, I want to stick with tight ends too. I was going to take Mayer, but you beat me to it. And I'm going to take the big athletic freak. I'm just all over these athletic freaks today. My team is going to be so scary. Let's start out Washington here. DJ Dove's guy. Like I said, the combine killer. I mean, you saw him. He was fast. He was big. He could block. I mean, catch. Not the best tight end on that Georgia team, but I mean, he looks like the biggest, baddest guy on the field. So if that can translate to the NFL, we'll find out. I'm not 100% sure, but if it does, watch out.
Tight end, back to back. I'm getting excited for tight end U. I got to break out my T-shirt, and I'll be wearing that for a while. They're already posting stuff on Instagram about that. It's going to be an exciting time.
Yeah, we're back to you, Adam, or DJ Dove. My bad.
Okay, so
I don't know if I ever called you that before.
Oh yeah, I think you called me Dove for about 20 years. So I'm gonna keep him with my running back theme. I've been like jumping all around here with guys I like, and I'm looking at Kendre. Am I getting another? Good grief! I'm staying in the same school.
You love TCU, don't you?
I love some TCU apparently this year. Just got back from a church conference. I guess I'm gonna go with TCU. And Kendre Miller, a running back out of TCU, is he's 5'11", but he's 215 pounds. That's like just a rock going through the line. He's quick. He's just seems like a solid running back. He's got a 4.5 running back, so he's not going to run away from you. But then again, we've talked about these 40 times. I mean, a 4.5 and a 4.3. That's the difference. Like, that's the difference. We're not talking about like me running down the street and then my dad trying to catch me. We're talking like that. So these guys they're still fast, and football speed is faster than underwear speed. So put some pads on the dude running through. He's gonna run right through some lines. He'll make a solid running back. He had a great year. I mean, good grief. Was that 17 touchdowns I'm seeing here?
Yeah. The first thing I noticed about this guy was when I started watching. Like sometimes guys, you'll notice the speed or the quickness, whatever. I noticed that when this guy was running through the middle, a lot of guys bounced off of him, and when he had this great contact balance. He didn't go down. People were just giving him their best shot, and he was able to stand up straight. Now the hits are going to be a little bigger in the NFL. Like I said, he doesn't have the great breakaway speed, but I mean, if your balance is like that in college, I mean, you can only hopefully progress a little better. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Kendrick Miller, but I mean, I
I
think
throw
he's
running
solid.
backs against the wall in rookie drafts, and one of those
Absolutely.
guys is going to IJ Pacheco it for me.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Agree 100%. Matt, who you got with your next pick?
Yeah, with my next pick, I'm going to go Zay Flowers, Boston College. I think he's the next best wide receiver on the board, and I think he does have, depending on landing spot, he could, in some drafts go late first round. So I think with the value here, potential wise, need receiver, you're getting a good one. I think here still early in the second round. Boston College. Yeah, I like him a lot. I
So,
have him up there. I have him up there with the rest of them.
so,
That tight.
so you're not afraid of just being the 5'9"? No, he is a little thicker, 180, 185 ish, but he is only 5'9". That doesn't worry you a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think he's a big outside target, right? He's going to run the slot, right? And I do like the slot looks and where they put guys in the slot. And again, depending on landing spot, right? I'm thinking like somebody like a San Francisco would be good for him, right? Somebody that knows how to use guys, potential and speed and athleticism all over the field, right? I think it'd be good for him there. He's probably not going to be your number one, right? But I can see him in a 3 or 4 wide receiver team, right? Being your 3 or 4 for sure. If he pans out in that way.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna go to running back. It's the first running back I drafted, and this guy's been on the radar for a long time. He was actually I don't people don't play in Devi. He was like the number one guy when I first started fantasy. And that's Bixby. Everybody was like, wait for Tank Bixby to come out of the draft in 2023 or whatever. And he never really excelled to being that guy. Plays for Auburn. Auburn's not really good. Their offensive line is not very good. Quarterback's not very good. Um, they other than that, how they going to help a running back? So it's going to be tough. Now he does average 5.5, 6 yards a carry. Does get some touchdowns, but I think his game translates to the NFL. He's a bigger guy. Doesn't have the great breakaway speed, but I mean he is a tank, and Tank's got to be able to run in the NFL, man. That's especially a mid second rounder here. I think it's perfect. Like DJ Duff said, grab as many of these running backs as you can because they're probably going to get playing time.
Look, what's going to keep Tank Bisbee on the field is
Not getting hurt.
what was I reading? Well, I was reading something. It was like out of like 80, 90 pass block attempts, he only allowed like one quarterback hurry or something.
Oh
That's
yes,
impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to keep you on the field in the NFL. And
As a
when
rookie,
you're on
yeah.
third down blocking, guess what happens? You catch those drop offs and those dump offs, right? That's where I could see his potential.
yeah. I'm a big fan. I've been like I'm gonna get Tank Bixby 3 years ago. I was like Tank Bixby will be my team somewhere. So at least he's still on the radar because a lot of these guys coming in as freshmen don't even make it to seniors. We're like, whatever happened to this guy?
So I Devi. Wow, I'm not that dedicated to even go into Devi thinking let's find a D3 running back that I could have in one day. I'm going solid speed here. Just speed, speed, speed. I'd mentioned him about 3 picks ago. Out of Texas A&M, I'm going to butcher his name. You're going to tell me how to say it right. Devin Achane. A-Chain. Devin A-Chain. Dude is only 3 inches taller than me, but he's a surprisingly 188. So he's the same size as who was the receiver we were just talking about? Same size as Flowers. But he's fast as crap, man. The dude is going to fly down the field. So he's going to be one of those special kind of weapons guys. And in the second round, that's all you can really hope for with a dude. He ran a 4.3 240. I mean, that's just insane. Once again, it's the snap, but still, that's crazy insane. This dude is going to be blowing through the field. You're going to get him into some open space, just flare him out there on the one side of the quarterback, dump it off, put one block, and the dude's down the field. I'm thinking CJ2K kind of speed, but it's a little shorter, but if it and durability is what we'll find out, but he's fast as all get up, and that dude could be a nasty weapon.
Yeah. I mean, like little guy, I'm not a huge fan. I can't just imagine too many of these guys just being able to hit. They're very few and far between. What's your thoughts, Matt? I can't. I mean, you probably like this guy, don't you?
I
But
love this guy. I love
yeah,
this
I
guy.
know. You probably like this guy.
I love this guy.
I do. I
The
like this guy.
NFL is all about these little fast guys and dump downs and getting into open space. Give me these guys in open space all day instead of these guys getting up there for 2 or 3, 4 yards. Give me this guy in open space. Give me 8 or 9 yards. Give me a catch. Right.
1 point
That's what I
now.
like about these kind of guys. They rack up the points. And I actually would take him. I think this is a good spot. I would bounce between him and Miller. If to choose one, I think you go either way, but I would take, um, you know, Devin over in this spot probably too.
Yeah, he's all right. We'll see how it goes.
he's
We
like
get on
he's
the
like
field.
retarded. That was a bad guy.
We'll see how it goes. All right, man. Who you got next?
So my pick, I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go just on hopefully on landing spot with Hendon Hooker, the quarterback out of Tennessee. I think if Anthony Richardson lands anywhere out of Seattle, that would be a good pick for Seattle too. I think he reminds me kind of Geno in a way, hopefully with a little bit more upside. But Geno had a great year last year, so I mean it's been a while, but I think that kind of landing spot at this spot in the draft for a quarterback, Superflex, I'd take the shot here.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how this guy plays at Virginia Tech and plays surprisingly well at Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech doesn't keep him, and we'd have no idea who Virginia Tech quarterback is right now. But somehow we know who Hendon Hooker is. Now they do say that the offense that he ran in college, the Josh Heupel wide open, they say that will that translate? I mean, maybe, maybe not. But we can ask that question about every Patrick Mahomes ran a crazy, crazy offense, right? So, but yeah, he did everything in college. I mean, his TD to pat interception ratio was crazy. He can run. Now the ACL is a worry about his running ability, but when he was on, he was on. I mean, this guy just literally killed Alabama. I mean, he was killing it before he got hurt. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, Tennessee was good, which is not really happening recently. So
we were
to the SEC,
T. Martin.
right.
Yeah. So since you took Hooker, that's kind of who I want. I'm going to take his number one passing target, wide receiver. That's Jalen Hyatt. Like you said, wide receivers at this point, I mean, they've fallen pretty far, but Hyatt had a very successful season. It was only one season that he popped, but him and Hooker had a great chemistry. He was able to get downfield. He's smaller, so he's got the speed. They said this kind of NFL, that's kind of what you're looking for, especially at this point in the draft. So I'm gonna go Jalen Hyatt here. I think it's a solid pick. I don't know. So how about this be the last round of the draft, Matt or Adam? DJ
Coming
Dove?
up? Coming up or that one?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Right,
I want to
coming
make
up.
this pick. I gotta make this pick. This one will be a quick one. I gotta take a tight end.
Go ahead.
So Michael Mayer's 6'4", 249, 40 time of 4.7. Dalton Kincaid 6'4", 246, 40 time of 4.71. He's being comped. They hate to do it, but he's being comped to like Kelsey. He's quick. He's off the rod. I know everybody, but hey, I got to jump on that. But it is tight end premium. I'm at the end of the second round. It's like with running backs. You got to see what sticks. Receivers, you have so many of them, and everybody passes. You can grab them quick, and there's not going to be a lot of tight ends. And from some of the stuff I've just seen of him moving on some of the NFL, on NFL TV or whatnot, looks like he's got good hands. He's going to be a good end zone receiver. I mean, the one thing here they were saying was last year he was a 13th in PFF receiving grade against man coverage. So that's just kind of crazy to think. And he's big, so
yeah, he's definitely the receiver, not much of a blocker, so that's going to hurt him a little bit getting on the field in the beginning. Hopefully that can improve, but like in today's NFL, you really don't need to be a blocker at the tight end position
unless you play for Miami. They don't want those.
There's only one like Kittle, right? I mean, we all know how Kittle loves to block, right? It's
Kelsey can
fantastic.
block secretly. He's a pretty good blocker too.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of these tight ends are like that receiving type, which works well if they pop. Great. I mean, it's kind of a cheat code at the tight end position. Matt, you want to make your last pick here?
Yeah, my last pick is going to be another receiver I like a lot from UNC, Josh Downs. I like Josh Downs a lot. I think he could probably actually go earlier, depending on who knows him and who doesn't, right? But one of the things I like about Downs that I've seen too is just one of his contested catch rates. You know, I think in the NFL the windows again are so small, you have to be able to catch the ball with people on your back, you know, sometimes. And I think he's got those big, strong hands. I like Downs a lot.
All right. Yeah, I like Downs. Him and Hyatt kind of the same
Yeah.
receiver. We'll come back to UNC here here in a minute. I'm gonna get my last running back here. I'm gonna go small school running back. There's got to be one. This is definitely a complete opposite of Devin A-Chain. We're talking ground and pound here, and that's Dwayne McBride, another big guy. This guy only had 5 catches in college, so not going to catch the ball a lot, but he will ground and pound. Those kind of running backs can be successful. I mean, look at Algier from at Atlanta. He was ended up with over 1,000 yards. A guy like this, all he needs is somebody to get an injury, him slide right in and average, 4.5 yards a carry, 8 or 9 touchdowns. For somebody this late, I mean, that's what we're looking for here. So Dwayne McBride, University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Ooh, the Dragons. What are they? The Dragons?
Yeah, you're right, Dragons. Yeah.
Dragons, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You think he will if you didn't want to just pick him because we had to pick him because you wanted to talk about him, would you think you could get him later in a real rookie draft?
I think I think it's at some point in the early third round. I think he's going to go. I mean, because at that point you're looking at Tajay Spears, Dwayne McBride, at about left, and maybe Roshan Johnson. Bijan Robinson's teammate might go get drafted here too, so watch out for him. But yeah, I mean, I might have drafted him a little early just so I can speak his name.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, JJ Wang, wrap us up here. Tell us what we got.
All right, so since we got Dynasty Matt on the other end here, I don't have very many opportunities to ask this question. Is Hubert Davis in trouble?
Hubert Davis is in trouble. He should be. You can't miss the tournament, man. With the team that just went to the national championship the year before, man, it's terrible. He should be. You know who I want? You know who I want?
Michael Jordan.
Jerry Stackhouse. Give me some Jerry Stackhouse.
Stack.
Give me Stack. He's doing all right at Vanderbilt. I think he can recruit. Give me some Stackhouse. Get Hubert out of here. You don't make the tournament again, you're fired, bro.
Yeah, but, it's not going to take. I can't imagine Carolina fans being very. But Stackhouse is a good one. I've seen him. Yeah. I've seen him on the bench earlier in the year. I think that would be a good pick. Yeah. So appreciate you coming on, man. Maybe we can do it again soon. And as always, trust yourself and trust the process.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, guys. See you.